We all come from different places, different countries, different levels of experience, different types of business, but there's one thing that everybody here agrees on, is that we all want to grow our businesses. That's why we're here. I mean, we're not here just for the parties. We all want to grow our businesses. We are sent here to grow our businesses. One of the things that we find in business and in content is that we get to certain levels and we plateau at those levels. We increase our success and then it starts to flatten out, doesn't it? So what we try and do to get to that next level of success is in many cases we're like, we got to spend some money. We got to amplify our content. We got to buy some ads. We've got to do some native. But advertising can be expensive and it can be difficult. So I want to share with you a better way to continue growing your business. Certainly, when we use content and we try to use storytelling to grow our business, that's absolutely one of the ways to do it. That's one of the reasons we're all here. One of the reasons this conference exists is to make us better storytellers, isn't it? But the best stories, the very best stories that you could possibly tell with your content are about what your company does, not just what it says. The best stories are about what you do, not what you say. There's a restaurant in Sacramento, California. It's called Skip's Kitchen. Skip's is a very simple restaurant premise. It's a counter service restaurant. You walk up to the counter and say, I would like 2 patty melts and onion rings and a chocolate shake. And when your food is ready, they bring it out to you, to your table. We have all experienced such a restaurant. But Skip's does something different. When you order, before you pay for your meal, the counter person whips out a deck of cards from behind a counter and fans the cards down in front of you and says, pick a card. And you select a card, and if you get a joker, your entire meal is free, whether you ordered for yourself or your entire family. Skip's has been in business for 10 years. They have spent a grand total, lifetime, of $0 on paid marketing and advertising. $0. Skip's has a line to get in almost every day. They were recently named the 29th best hamburger restaurant in the United States by USA Today newspaper, despite never really trying to get customers, not in the way that we think. You see, Skip's does something different. They give you a chance to win a free meal if you pull a joker out of a deck of cards. On average, 3 people per day win the joker game. And when they win, they go batshit crazy. They're taking patty melt selfies. They're calling their mom. They're crying into their onion rings. A high school marching band comes out. It's extraordinary. You don't have to win for that to be a story you remember. You just have to give an opportunity for everybody to win. It's so effective that, as you can see here, the sign at Skip's Kitchen is not what you would call understated. It's a giant neon pink sign that says Skip's Kitchen, yet everybody in Sacramento instead calls it that joker restaurant. That is a powerful differentiator. What we're here to do is not content marketing. The name of the event is a misnomer. What we are here to do is tell stories that our customers will remember. And if you give your customers a story to tell, they will, in fact, tell it. The formula is simple. Word of mouth plus content equals your customers grow your business for you. And that's what we're going to talk about today. How can you get your customers to grow your business for you? It's the best possible way, the least expensive way, the most reliable way to grow any business is if your customers do it for you. This is more important than ever because people have the power more than ever. There are multiple reports that show we trust each other more than ever. And we trust companies less than ever. So if somebody to the left or to the right of you, somebody behind or in front of you, anybody you know, or anybody you even don't really know, recommends something to you, it carries massive persuasive power. 83% of Americans have made a purchase in the last 30 days based on a recommendation from somebody else. Hugely important. Let's find out how important. Chuck, I need some help from you. We're going to do a little quiz here. Ladies and gentlemen, please bring your hands together for Chuck Hester. Okay, Chuck. All right. For this portion of the presentation, I need a volunteer. Chuck is going to help me select the volunteer. This is an alpaca. Well, it's not actually an alpaca, as you can probably determine. It is a toy alpaca. It is an alpaca because the cover of my new book, Talk Triggers, has alpacas on the cover. So if you ever see a book in a bookstore, airport with alpacas, you know it's the right book. What we're going to do here, Chuck, is I'm going to have you cast this alpaca into our audience. You have two choices, ladies and gentlemen. If you catch the alpaca, you are either the volunteer, or if you're a coward, you can give the alpaca to anybody else in the room, and they are the volunteer. Chuck, are you ready? Get up here a little bit farther so you can give more people a chance. And I'm not going to, you just give this a shot wherever you want. Are you ready? Here we go. Chuck Hester, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Oh my God, it's Scott Monty. It is Scott Monty. We did not plan this, but I do know Scott Monty. Scott Monty, you are either the volunteer or would you like to give the alpaca to somebody else and make them the volunteer? Thank you. Okay, Scott Monty, ladies and gentlemen, please come over here, Scott. Scott Monty. Tell people about yourself, Scott.
Hi, I'm Scott. I'm an alumnus here at Content Marketing World, was once the global head of social media for Ford Motor Company, and I write the Full Monty newsletter.
Full Monty newsletter, perhaps the finest newsletter in all of digital marketing. I do not say that just because he's holding an alpaca. It's a true story. Look it up. Now, Scott, quiz for you. Are you ready? Now, you guys have to help Scott as well, okay? Because, yeah, he used to be in charge of social media, but he's not, So, first question, Scott. Are you ready? Yes. What percent of all purchases are completely caused by, ladies and gentlemen, please help Scott Monty. What do you think? Is it 9%, 14%, or 19%? That's not very loud. Let's do it again. 9%, 14%, or 19%? Whoa, that seems like a consensus. Scott Monty, what do you say?
You seem like very smart people. I'm going to go with 19.
The wisdom of the crowd you're relying on. Yes. Correct, 19%. Scott Monty and our audience. Okay, well done, each of you. Terrific job. Second question, Scott. What percent of all purchases are primarily caused by word of mouth? So maybe another factor there. Ladies and gentlemen, is it 35%, 45%, or 50%? Let's hear it for Scott Monty. What do you say? 50. All right.
Oh, I'm going to go 2 for 2. 50%.
Scott Monty says 50%. He and you are correct. Well done. Let's hear it for Scott Monty. Nicely done. Third and final question. Many people in our audience here are in business-to-business companies, as am I. What percent of B2B purchases are primarily caused by word of mouth? 75%, 80%, or 91%? Ladies and gentlemen, please shout it out. What do you think? They're uncertain. Let's hear it again. They're not sure.
91%.
Scott Monty says 91%. He is correct, as are you. Thank you. Let's hear it for Scott. And no. This alpaca is yours to keep. And I will be sending you a copy of my book, Talk Triggers, for you, Scott Monty. Let's hear it for Scott. Thank you, everybody. All right. Here's the part that's crazy. We just learned mathematically, with the help of Scott Monty, your answers and an alpaca, that word of mouth drives between 20 and 91% of every single dollar in your company. But nobody in this room has an actual word of mouth strategy. We have a marketing strategy. We have a digital marketing strategy. We probably have a content marketing strategy if you're in this room. Probably have a social media strategy. Might have a crisis strategy. Might have an HR and recruiting strategy, possibly a PR strategy. But nobody has a word of mouth strategy. But yet is responsible for more dollars or pounds or euros than anything else you do. How is that possible? Because we just take it for granted. And we always have. We've always taken word of mouth for granted. We just assume that our customers will talk about us. But will they? And what are they saying exactly? Raise your hand if you've ever eaten at a Cheesecake Factory restaurant. Universally beloved here at Content Marketing World. That was extraordinary participation. Did you know that the Cheesecake Factory spends 5 times, not 5%, 5 times less on advertising than any other restaurant chain in their competitive set. You almost never see a Cheesecake Factory ad, almost ever. How is that possible? This is how it is possible. Right? Almost everybody here has been there. Yes or no, the Cheesecake Factory menu is enormous? Yes. It's freakish. Worst place ever to be a server. Are you ready to order? No. Not even close yet. I had my intern permanently borrow a Cheesecake Factory menu. One of the many reasons I'm looking for another intern, and turns out the Cheesecake Factory menu is 5,940 words long. Now, the book that comes out in a couple weeks is 53,000 words long. So the Cheesecake Factory menu is like 16% of a business book. They make chicken 85 different ways. If I asked each of you here, hey, write down all the ways to make chicken, nobody here can do 20. 85 is ridiculous. They'll make chicken out of anything. Like, try our new dirt chicken. It's amazing. Like, they don't even care. But the menu is so big, it's the story that their customers tell. Now, you may think it's an insignificant difference. You would be incorrect. I recently talked to 1,000 Cheesecake Factory customers and found that 38% of them have mentioned the size of the menu without being asked to somebody else in the previous 60 days. It's something that they do different. What it is a talk trigger. And a talk trigger is a strategic, operational choice that compels word of mouth. It's not marketing, necessarily. It's a strategic, operational choice that then creates marketing advantages. It makes your content marketing easier. It makes your social media marketing easier. It makes your public relations easier. It makes all of it easier. It's not a campaign. It's not a contest. It's not a slogan. It's not a coupon. It's a choice. And it's a choice that creates conversation. So in the book, I told you it has alpacas on the cover. I would never lie. You can see it matches the one that Scott Monty has. In the book, we share 4 requirements, 4 ingredients, 4 things that your operational choice must include for your differentiator to create the kind of conversations necessary to grow your business. And the first ingredient is that your talk trigger must actually be remarkable, meaning it must be worthy of remark. Like, I don't know everybody here yet. I do know some of you, having been here so many years. But I know this for a fact. Nobody in this room has ever said, hey, let me tell you about this perfectly adequate experience I just had. We don't say that because that's a crappy story. Your customers will only tell stories if the story is interesting to the listener. So if you're going to make an operational choice to do something different, it has to be different enough that it resonates with people. Same is lame. One of the things we do in business, and certainly one of the things we do in content marketing, is we find whoever is the best in our category. Who does the best content in whatever industry we're in, and then we try to copy that. We try to use their best practices. Follow the leader is not a way to create conversations, because best case, you're second best in your industry. So we have to have the courage to actually make an operational choice that is different enough that our customers don't see it coming. We discuss things that are different, and we ignore things that are average. It's just how we're wired as human beings. It's a physiological truth, not a marketing truth. We can create content that accentuates our operational choices. The best way to do this is to actually have a talk trigger in your business and then use your content marketing to shine a spotlight on that talk trigger. This is the coolest cooler. It is the world's craziest ice chest. It has all kinds of features that go far beyond keeping beverages cold. They created a video, which I've cut down a little bit for time, to show you just a few of those advantages.
What makes this cooler the best cooler that's ever been made? And we're going to start with the blender. When you pull this trigger, if there's no pitcher, nothing will happen. Only when you put the cooler or the pitcher in here can you actually fire up the blender. And let's do it. There we go, vodka Rita. Next up is the coolest speaker. And this is an amazing speaker. We've been showing this off and sharing it with some friends and family, getting feedback on the software, getting our revisions, and this thing really puts out a ton of sound. You've got two speakers in there, and then you've got this big...
That is my college dorm room and a cooler. All combined into one thing, right? Do you see the synergy there? Bingo. Do you see the synergy there between an operational choice to add all those features and then content that amplifies those differentiators? The problem with content marketing, and I know this because we do content strategy for many of the biggest brands in the world, is that we're out on an island all the time. It's like, hey, here's a shitty product, make great content. Bro, that's a tough hill to climb. You want to be a great content marketer? Start with something that's actually different. It makes your job much easier.